today, Moxi Engage is an exciting tool because it's literally how you're going to engage with your client, your customer. So those people that you've never met before, and it helps you curate them into actual customers that land in closed deals. So Moxi Engage is very exciting. And the really cool part about it is that it's super easy to use. You just have to be shown where to go. My name is Elizabeth Glass. I'm part of the company training team. If you have any questions, you don't hesitate to contact me at all. You can give me a phone call or you can email me at elizabeth.glass@cbschmidtohio.com. Again, that's elizabeth.glass@cbschmidtohio.com. So here we go. I'm going to just quickly kind of run over what today's session will be. And then for those of you who haven't taken 101, just kind of land you where you can have your expectations for today and then decide what you want to do for the next session. So what we've done is we've broken it down to make it really simplistic for all of you. In the previous session that we had in 101, so just like college, 101 is the first class. Once you take 101, then you kind of go over to the little bit more advanced class, which is 201, which is what we are doing today. In 101, there was a account profile review, which we will do very quickly today, again, just to reiterate that section. And then they went over the importance and an overview of the CRM. The CRM is your client relationship management tool. So we went over an overview. There were setting goals and showing you how to do that. Showed you the dashboard, how to add people using GSuite contacts with labels, making sure Moxi is synced correctly to your Engage system so that your contacts flow effortlessly. And then how to add a contact into Engage manually. Then using the categorize wizard so that you can quickly categorize all those contacts that you pull in into specific groups that'll help you with other things that we're going to do today. And then using tags and labels. And then again, we have great tasks and task managers. And in that session for 101, we went over how to add and remove them. Today, I'm actually going to go through those tasks today. So in today's session for 201, we are going to go over a quick review again of the account profile because it's where it feeds to your Engage system, to your websites, to your presentation. So it's a very important thing. Plus, I'm going to show you your account permissions and how and where to connect your Engage system to Loop and Zillow. This is going to be very important for today's session because it's going to actually help you take a lead. So Moxi Engage, your CRM, your client relationship management tool, literally takes you from a potential lead you haven't met all the way to a deal that is closed with your client. It integrates the actual transaction contracts through Loop, and it will also integrate the feedback they leave for you on Zillow. So it's all very connected. Today, I'm going to actually show you an individual client and contact profile. I'm going to go over all of the information and all of the sections. So I'm just really going to point out what's important for you to use. That's going to include faves and saves, neighborhood news, just listed and sold. I'm actually going to run you through the tasks, the task manager, through your sales flow, all the way from the beginning. So potential lead all the way through a closed client. So you're going to see that live today. And you're going to see live action today where we actually connect it to an actual transaction and create the transaction in Loop from within Engage. So we're saving you guys many steps today. Keep in mind, if you're on from Florida, you guys use app files and it's not connected correctly or connected at this time to Moxi, but at a time where they do decide to do that, we will go ahead and update you with that. We're also going to go ahead and do a campaign overview. Bear with me while I continue to let people in, trying to multitask here. But a campaign overview, so your campaigns, where you're going to actually go in and have your drip campaigns to these potential people. It is so quick and easy to pull a campaign in, to get it turned on, and to get it to your clients within minutes. And the really cool thing about Engage that you're going to see today, everything works together. So you're getting your people in there, and then you're putting them on campaigns, but then Engage actually tracks the usage. So who's opening it up? What are they looking at? What properties are they looking at? And it also connects with the MLS and also your websites. So all of our tools function together, and I'm going to show you how we kind of seamlessly run through an entire transaction today. That way you guys can actually see it from start to finish. If you would like to have what you're looking at now, please email me. It is called the Moxi Training 101 versus 201, so you can actually see the breakdown of the classes. In addition, I also have a benefits of Moxi sheet I can email to you as well after the session. If you're interested in either of those, please go to the chat bar right now, throw your email in the chat bar, and I will make sure I get you both of these. This benefits is an actual bullet point breakdown of what each tool does. This helps you get an overall grasp of the tool. And then if there's a bullet point that you're not familiar with or you haven't learned yet, it just helps you understand what classes to plug into or to reach out to your trainer or ASC for more assistance on. So please go ahead and let us know. But as we talked about briefly, Moxi Engage is a productivity system designed to help agents achieve goals and convert leads. You're going to see that firsthand. It is a goal setter to keep you on track, and your managers also see that exact tracking to help them help you stay on track. It connects to the MLS, so it shows your current GCI with your cumulative proposed GCI with the things you have pending. So you get a whole overall grasp every single day up to the minute of where you're literally standing today and what you have with projected closings. It also syncs with our company provided GSuite contacts so that when you put your contacts in, bam, they're already in Moxi Engage, which is amazing. We have listing announcements and neighborhood news where it can automatically be subscribed to people and have it go to them without you doing anything but just hitting subscribe, which is amazing. We have campaigns in the campaign center, which allow you guys to just with a couple clicks market to a single prospect or your entire sphere. We've got daily suggested, sorry, I can hardly talk today, guys. Daily suggested tasks, which literally tell you what to do in each phase of business with that particular person. So if you're not, familiar with what we do on that day, or you want to create your own tasks for that person, it works together to help keep you on pace and also recommend what you should be doing for that day, which is an amazing tool to have. We need all of it today. And agents' contacts cannot be viewed. So that means you have your full clientele and protection. And again, neighborhood news is an amazing sphere curating tool that we have that is already auto-populated for you. It's just a matter of you clicking a couple buttons to send it out. And it helps to generate leads, which has physically converted into closings. So let me clarify that again. Neighborhood news, many times over for our company, for our agents, has curated leads that have changed and converted over to closings. So that's something you're going to want to pay attention to when we get to that section. And then again, it integrates with Dotloop and Zillow. So let's jump right in. I actually love showing you guys not only your side as an agent, but there are going to be points today where I actually showcase to you the client side as well. So you're getting a full-on review of the entire process here. So we're going to jump right in here. Again, if you would like either one of these two sheets that I've showed you so far, go ahead and put your email in the chat bar. I'll make sure to save it and get an email to you immediately after session ends today. Okay, so we are going to start with logging in. The first thing you're going to do to access Engage is you're going to literally log into Moxi. To do so, you can go to schmidtresources.com and click the Moxi square, or you can go to my.schmidtresources.com. It should log you into what we are now looking at, which is the account profile section. In the situation that maybe you are not logged into this page, it's very simple. Top right-hand corner, excuse that. Figures, apologize for that. Agents are calling. So in the top right-hand corner, you see your agent icon profile. You're going to click on that. Then you're going to choose the option at the very top that says My Account. It's going to load you to the page we were just looking at. Now, what I'm showing you today is a set it and forget it. So this is the first time you're in here. And then after you do this, you will not need to come back to this location anytime you go into Present, Engage, or Website. But it's very important for you guys to realize what we're looking at, because As you can see, your profile picture starts from here. So if you don't have your photo here, it's not going to relay out to Present, which is your presentation tool, Engage, which is what we're looking at today, or it will not go to your website. It's a very important part. So if you look at the navigation panel on the left-hand side, you can see we've got some sections here. And we're just going to cover a couple real quick, and then we're going to jump right into Engage. If you notice here, I'm clicking on this little icon to expand it. So if you don't see a lot of options, clicking on that's going to open it up. The highlight in blue is what you're currently opening up. So as you can see right now, I'm in the profile section. And this is what we're going to take a quick second to look at. Personal info, contact info, web info, and your photo. These are the three things that are the hub, the epicenter, the contact source of all of your different products, okay? So when you put your bio in here, your contact information here, making sure it's correct, put in your photo, what's gonna happen is all of this information then feeds out to Present and shows up in your presentations, shows up on your Engage system so that when you send out your campaign marketing, it's ready to go and you don't have to do any additional work. And then it also filters out and shows up in your website. So the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to make sure that you've taken the time to run through these three sections to make sure the information is correct. Personal info. And again, if your email isn't correct, we can make those changes before you start throwing out a campaign. Web info. And then very quickly, to open up any one of these three, you're going to click on the blue pencil. This is going to expand any editing for all three sections. So very quickly, if you do not have a bio in right here into this section where it says about me, it's going to be very important that you do so right away. And you're going to see how that rolls out today when we get into your campaigns. So again, just make sure your biography is in there, plug in your social media, and make sure those three pages are updated. Hitting the save at the top right-hand corner is important because if you do not do that, you will make changes that will not be saved, and then you're going to be left doing it again. So that's part one, super simple. Part two is going to be very quickly, again, over in the left-hand panel, we're going to see this account settings section, and right here where it says account access. I like for you guys to see this today when we get into the 201 classes, because once you get in and start playing with the products and using them, you might need help from your ASC, RSC, or training team. So if you want us to help you and get into your Engage, let's say today I teach you how to set up a campaign or use Engage and something doesn't look to be correctly working for you, you can reach out to us. We can literally get into your Engage and physically see it for ourselves, and a lot of the times just fix it for you. So what we do here is you actually control access to your account, or other people can have access to your account. So what you would do is just come in here very quickly and click manage, and you would look up whoever you would like to have help you. So in this case, maybe your RSC. We've got Stephanie Martin, or you've got your local, that's our RSC. You can put in your ASC. You're going to literally type in their name here, and it's going to locate them within the company. My recommendation is to go ahead and find that person and hit add and then invite. So you click the person right next to it, click add, and then at the top, choose to invite them. Don't wait until you have a tool that you want help with. If you do it for just 3 seconds today, your local help or assistance or training team can help you on the go at any time and not have to wait for that to be done. So that's the other thing I wanted to cover real quick. We just covered profile, making sure it's updated so that your Engage is properly set up. Account settings, giving others account access to get in and help you on the fly. And then finally, the last thing we're going to do in here, which is a very important one, we're going to expand agent tools. When in agent tools, here's an important part. Again, set it and forget it, but it's integrated tools. Integrated tools allows you to connect both Dotloop and Zillow so that your efficiency of using our tools is at its finest. What we'll do here very quickly, you're going to easily click connect account, and for Dotloop, what you're going to actually be putting in is, let's make sure I say this clearly, the company provided .loop account. So if you previously bought a house on your own and you have a private or a personal .loop account connected for that, that is not the account that we want to put in here. When you join, we provide you a .loop for, please accept, exceptions to Florida who use app files. We provide you a company provided .loop account. You're going to put that email address in here. And then once you sign up, it's going to have it connected for you. That way, when we get into your transactions, it can automatically connect to the correct account and create the transaction for you, saving you the headache of logging in and filling out a lot of paperwork online. So .loop is the email the company provided for you with your .loop account. Now for Zillow to connect it, it's actually a little different. You're going to click on the edit option here, and you're going to put in the email address that you have associated with Zillow. So this one does not need to be a company provided email. This one very specifically is just the one that you have chosen to set up with your Zillow account. So when you go to Zillow, you do not need a Premier account. You don't need to pay extra money, but we do recommend you go and actually just create one of the free agent account profiles. And then that allows you to control your listings and have some more options. We do have a separate training on that. If you need to access that, you can please, again, request that in the chat bar and we'll make sure we get that to you. So that's it. It's a couple of seconds. You're just going to connect, put in the email again for Zillow, type in the email and hit save. The minute you do that, you're done here. You do not need to consistently keep going back to these sections. You're just going to know that you're going to be able to jump into Engage, do what you need to, and then fly back out to be able to have the most efficiency in your day. So I'm going to go ahead and open the chat bar. If you guys have any questions, don't hesitate to ask them at any time. I'm happy to go back when needed. And if I need to do something more than once, I'm completely okay with that as well. So let's go ahead and dive in. Let's jump into our Engage 201. And I am going to try to stay on track today for time. I'd love for you guys to see all the great benefits of the tool that we have today. Okay, so I'm going to move some things out of the way. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to show you how to get to Engage, as you would have seen in Engage 101. On the top navigational panel, we are going to click Engage. And before I do this, I'm actually going to log in as one of our ASCs, or I'm sorry, our RSC, who also is an agent that you can actually show and see firsthand how an agent would use this rather than just an admin. I feel like that's more beneficial for you guys. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to log in as Stephanie Martin. And if you're wondering how I'm doing this, it was that account permissions we did earlier. I actually had Stephanie give me permission and I'm able to come in and train with her account. All right, so again, at the top navigational panel, we are clicking Engage. When this loads, it should load for you guys on your agent page. If you're an ASC or a manager, it might open up to your manager dashboard. So if you have more than one option, it would show up right here and then you would just click agent mode. For Stephanie, what we're going to do is we're going to jump right into people. In 101, he would have actually covered, they would have covered all of what you're looking at right now. So we're not going to focus too much on the home page. We're going to jump right in and get to working the client, going through the sales flow, closing the deal, and actually facilitating the transaction. So what we're going to do to be able to do this is we're going to go straight into the navigational panel at the top. It says people, and then we're going to choose my people. So all I've done at this point was I've selected engage, hover over people, and then clicked my people. So this takes us into our, and the really great thing is that when you already have this synced with your contacts, which shown to you in 101, all of the people show up here for you. And they're already going to have labels on them if you do it the way that we show you. So that way you can have some that are signed up as a seller, some that are in here already located as a buyer. It just helps you very quickly navigate through. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump right into a specific client. I put myself into Stephanie's clientele here so that I can utilize this firsthand for you. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click on the profile that says Beth Glass. So we are in here as Stephanie, the agent, and Beth Glass is the lead. And the first thing I want to do is kind of dissect what we're looking at, just to help take your eyes to the right place to make sense of what we see. On the left-hand side is a navigation panel. It shows you who your client is, that you're inside of their file. When you click on profile, this is their information. So this would have pulled over from your contacts upload. So when you uploaded the contacts, whatever information was there will show up here. In addition, you can come to the edit button and continue to add as much information about them as need be, quick and easy. So that is the profile button on the left. The notes button is very simply that. Any specific notes you want to add just to help you remember that client or any specific activity you did with them. Now here's where engage gets really cool. You're literally engaging with them both virtually and physically. So watch what happens when I click activity. This is what helps set this CRM apart from others. And this is why we love it. One of these two options here. Activity will literally monitor everything that person is doing. So if I send them an email, it'll tell me when they opened it and if they did, etc. It actually comes in here, as you can see. Beth has saved searches. So they've gone on my website and started saving searches. I also set up a search, which I'll show you here in just a minute, sent it to her, and it also helps to let her navigate what is new on the market. And I'm literally coming in here and I'm seeing everything she's looking at. I'm looking at neighborhood news. So when I sent her neighborhood news, which I'll show you in just a second, it shows me it was opened up 2 days ago. So I see that she's opening my emails. She's also opening up my neighborhood news. She's also saving some searches on the website search. So this shows me there's an extremely interested and connected potential client here. So this could be somebody that I haven't even met yet. Maybe we just got her name from somebody, a random friend, or I met her at the grocery store. We haven't actually landed a deal yet. This helps you to understand the mentality of that person. If you're sending them campaign marketing and you're sending them emails or you're sending them neighborhood news and there's no activity at all, you know what, maybe they're just not in the mindset today, but we'll continue to keep them on the campaign until we start to see activity that allows us to know that they're ready to move forward with you as an agent. So this particular activity state is really great. The next tab, faves and saves. So this allows you to not only create a specific search on your website and send it to them, which is the same thing you would do if you went to the MLS, but now you're not going to the MLS, but it allows them to do one really cool thing. First, I'm going to show you how to set it up. Then I'm going to send it to the client and then show you how the client receives it. You're going to get a full 360 here. So as you can see here, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click the edit option. The first time you do it, it might say create or something like that. And then you're literally just, as you would if you were going into the MLS as an agent, to find properties that match what that particular person's looking for. You're just going to go ahead and start filtering it out. So you can click the price point. You can narrow down the price point that they're looking between. You can be specific with the number of bed and bath. And then just like the MLS, you have full filter options where you can dictate what type of property, square footage, if there's anything specific, and then you can go ahead and hit apply. Now, what's cool about this is you can, in addition to these physical filters here, you can also do some mapping filters as well. So let's say Beth said, I want all of these criteria points, but I want to be on the north side of town, and I want to be, let's say, right here. I have, it's kind of hard to see, it's kind of slow, but a little bit little, but I see Drake Road right here. So if Beth says, I want to be north of Drake Road, but south of Boston Road, which is down here, these features tap in because if you click on the draw option and you click multi-draw, it literally lets you draw a circle on the first section, she said, and then draw a circle on the second section. And it literally only cuts out the ones you do not want. If you do quick draw, that just lets you do one location or area. So if you know you want to be somewhere around Lund Road, you can literally come in here and just circle that Lund Road area, and then it's going to knock out everything else and only show you Lund Road. So it's just an additional benefit for you just to have for a filtering option. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to clear the top, if you see that here. And then I'm going to exit. That's going to regain the listings that I had for us in here. So here's what I'm going to do now at this point. I'm going to click at the bottom, email and settings. See the bottom right-hand corner? Now I'm going to be able to have what the name of the search is, and these areas are for you to leave alone or add in what you would like. So if you don't like the suggested wording, you're able to type your own in. Then, because we're pulling listings off the market, and this is a live active thing that happens nonstop, you get to choose how often they receive the notification. My recommendation is not hourly because that might get a little annoying. But if you wanted to do somebody that's really aggressive and they just lost a house on the market and they just want to find something ASAP, you definitely can do the once per day. They would receive the email once a day. All new listings that came within that last 24-hour period would show up to them right away. You would get to have that amazing dialogue that they would be first on hand to see it, and you would alert them right away. The next option here, which is most recommended if you're not dealing with somebody that's super aggressive, would be weekly. And then again, it would show them the newest listings within that last week. If you want to choose the option down at the very bottom, it says send no new listings email when there are none. So instead of them just getting no email at all and thinking you might have forgot about them, it will send an email to say there are no new matching properties within that criteria. So if you would like that, you would go ahead and select that. Now I'm going to go ahead and hit save and send update. And again, you guys saw how quick that was. It was very simple and very quick. We just went in here to create the search, and now it's automatically been sent to the client. I'm going to go to the client email so you can see the receiving end of it. So this is what it looks like in the client's standpoint. So from Beth Glass's email, we came in here and you can see the contact information. Remember that account profile section I told you about? If it's not correct there, it's going to show up incorrectly here. That's why it's so important to make sure you do that first. But it's already ready here. So it says there are 6 new listings since the last time I looked, or even if this is the first time, there are 6 new on the market as of today. And then they can continue to kind of go through here. And as you guys can see, it's kind of built out automatically. If your social media and website are already in that account section, all of it's clickable. It would allow them to go directly to your website, your social media, and all of those different places. So for them, it's super self-explanatory here. They just click view current listings. They don't have to do a lot of digging. You can let them know this is live information firsthand. So it's going to be more accurate than going to other platforms that they might see commercials for. And as you can see here, they just see it in the same view you saw it. So as an agent, it lets you have that communication very fluently, very easily, to allow them to say you're going to get, a number of listings, and they're going to see that they can just very quickly click on the property. They don't lose any function by doing it this way. They have full function direct from the MLS. They can look at the pictures, get all of the information. And again, it still keeps them here to you. So I like this better than them going to Zillow or Trulia or the MLS, because the Moxi Engage system is tracking what their usage is by a couple quick things. If you notice this thing right here, this little word that says favorite with a little heart, if they click on this, this means it is a favorited house. And I'm going to show you that that actually showcases to you as the agent, so you know effortlessly that this is in a house that they're interested in. It starts to streamline, not only for them, but for you. You also have an engagement here, call me, email from, or go to my website. This is an additional benefit of using this versus doing this in the MLS. I recommend doing it in Moxi because it's interactive, it's intuitive, and we have an amazing presentation system that just prepares and provides understanding of how to market their house in a way the MLS cannot. So there's a separate training on that. If you guys want to do the present training, Moxi Present, make sure you hit that up. But notice how you see this red arrow here, area, and then this one does not have that. That's because the client, so Beth, went in and favorited that house. So this is how they can very quickly and easily keep favorites to understand what they're actually liking versus what they're not. And again, it shows to you as an agent when I go back into your profile. They can also come up here and save search. They can name the search and hit save, but they can also change the criteria. So let's say we started off with this having a certain price point. Your client doesn't have to go in and do any searching and tell you any, MLS. They can just literally jump in here. They can change the price point themselves, bed and bath or filters, and then save the search with a different name. And now you have their saved search. So that client that says, I do not want a condo, I swear I don't want a condo, halfway through the buying process, they start looking at condos. It helps you understand where they have changed in mentality. So it gives them control to just have the fluency of coming in to see what they want to see. But yeah, this is still coming to them effortlessly in an email, doing the search for them on a daily basis or a weekly basis if they don't want to have to be digging as well. So that's what is shown on the agent side and the client side. Let's go back into Moxi to show you where that shows up. Right underneath here, where we were showing the activity, remember I showed you this activity tab? When I sent them that listing right here, it says saved search. You see that? So I know when they're going in and creating a new search or saving a search and exactly what their level of interaction is. Underneath that, where we just created the search directly from inside Moxi Engage, so you're not even having to go to your website anymore. It's so cool. It's already built in and connected to your site. It's doing the search for you. This is where it keeps the saves, and then this is going to update and it's going to have the faves. So when you click on faves, it's going to show you those properties that they literally, as the lead, the potential prospect that you have, hearted or favorited right down here in red. And again, they can do it in 2 locations. I'm going to go ahead and refresh my screen here. They can, when they're inside of a property, they can hit the favorite right there. Or when they're on the main page where they're all showcased, they can also come down here and do it right here on the front as well. So it's going to immediately allow them to favorite it, but if they wanted to put a comment on here, they can do it too, and they could say the one with the really great clawfoot tub. So it just helps you and them, again, stay on the same page, making it easy and seamless for them. So the faves and the saves and the new activity tab are a game changer because you're not just aimlessly sending things out to people, not knowing if they even care. This is going to show you who is ready, and it's going to help you stay in front of your sphere and be aware. So when that person makes some more saved listings or favorites some new houses, you get to be like, oh, I see you love that house on Main Street. Let's go ahead and set up viewing for you, right? So you're on top of it. Your tools, your technologies are helping you stay ahead of the game, not only with them, but with the properties and the houses on the market. Again, it's not just the story you tell, it's the example you show. When you're going to get a property to them before anybody else can see it, by setting up searches in advance, it pulls it from the MLS live and it sends it immediately to them. So to them, it looks like you just ran in and rushed in and got the listing, did a search and sent it to them. But in reality, all you did is set up the search one time and it's automatically having the system do it for you. So work, what is it? Smarter, not harder, right? So the next tab you'll see here is our sales flow, our transaction tab. This is where the hub of communication, staying in contact, and your activity is marketed and watched and controlled in 4 easy steps. So I know we're looking at the left-hand side right now, but what we're going to do in a second is we're going to jump up here and look at the sales flow from marketing. So that's a potential prospect that you do not have as a lead or a client yet. Then it's going to walk us into the sales flow of working with the prospect and then into your actives and then into pending. So we're going to hit those areas in just a minute. So that is where you locate it, but I'm going to skip it for just 1 second. Under that section is neighborhood news. So neighborhood news, again, is an exceptional way to curate leads, to get people interested. The reason that it's so important is because it connects somebody with their street, their house, their neighborhood. So whether I am buying or not in the near future or selling or not in the near future, these are my neighbors. These are my street. My value of my home is dependent on what happens around it. So it intrigues people from the get-go. So I'm going to go ahead and click on neighborhood news here. This just lets me know how many neighborhood subscription news sheet opened. But if I wanted to set it up for the first time, I'm going to click add and watch how fast. This is literally seconds, you guys. We have 2 things you can add people to automatically. Neighborhood news, okay, that's what I told you is connected to local market information. And then listing announcements, which is all of your listing. And every time you get a listing, it's automatically going to send an announcement to whoever you put on this particular subscription. So again, automated system, let the system work for you. We're going to click add subscription, but before we do, I'm going to click view sample. And it's very easy here. I'm going to try to see if I can make this a little bit larger for you. But this is just the top part of an example. It's not even a full-on inclusive example, but it literally pulls out by zip code. So you're able to be specific and go down to a street and make the neighborhood news about their market and their area, or you can make it as simple as a zip code there. So let's go ahead. I'm going to say add subscription. And there's 2 things you could do. If you want to just type in the zip code or have it select the zip code for you, you're going to hit go. And because we uploaded with zip codes, it would show up right here. But when you uploaded your contacts, if you didn't have their zip code at that time, you could actually find out what zip code they want to see or what zip code they live in and type it in right here. Immediately, what would happen? So that's the 44136 area code here, right here in Strongsville. And then it will pinpoint to that specific market. So this is more somewhat of what they would actually receive in their email. They're going to get some information and news on the surrounding area. So market changes to their zip code, their community, their actual street within the 12 months here. Market changes from April to May, median prices, average days of sale. And again, this is their neighbor. This is the person down the street, around the corner. And then it goes even more in detail with information. And if you notice right here, you have some lead capture. Again, if you're generally sending this out to a prospect sphere and you don't even know them, this is your way for you to distinguish who's ready for more information and who's trying to prepare for a move of one sort. So again, it builds it all into the system. So that's the fast, quick, and easy. If you have somebody who's super specific, you can come into go, and then it just lets you do the exact same functionality that you can on your website, or I showed you when we were setting up a listing, whenever this decides to load, but it's going to let you actually cater to a specific street or an area. So my system is having a moment to load. I'll try it one more time. But if it doesn't right away, it's my internet right now. And basically, it just lets you, again, use some of these interactive options, whereas you guys can see this is customized to an actual street. So this is going to be the neighborhood news for that street, that community. So if you live in Deerfield Lake, if you only want to know Deerfield Lake, you can be that specific. You can also, again, use the drawing option. So you can just say, I want just the neighborhood news for Westwood Drive area in Strongsville, and then you hit next. And it lets you subscribe to them very quickly and easy. So both options are very, very, very easy. So that says send to Beth Glass. And it makes it very simple for them as well in the recipient point, because we don't need to explain anything. We don't need to communicate anything in a way that's difficult. This is going to upload here in just a quick second. So it's just the same process, though. It looks just like this, where they go in and they click on the neighborhood news, and it takes them into their neighborhood news. And the minute you open it, it not only lets you see they've opened it, but it lets you see where they're looking at as well. So the neighborhood news section is, again, one thing that we've seen firsthand over and over and over actually take a prospect to become a client on a buying or selling end and then curate into a closed deal. This is something that once you set it up one time, it can go out on a consistent basis and you get to choose exactly when they receive it. As you guys can see here, the next time that they would receive it, I've set this up a couple of times because it's just me, but they can get it once a month. You can come in here and you can delete it, you can edit it, you can remove it, you can send it again. So there's a lot of options for you as an agent to come in and really fine tune what somebody's looking for. And then again, between the listing, the new listing announcements that you have going out in the faves and saves area, showing them the new houses that hit the market and their criteria, and the neighborhood news showing them what's going on, you've now become the extreme resource point, and you're eliminating the need for them to go to places like Zillow and Trulia because that information is coming from you firsthand and not through any third party. That again is easily added in seconds. Same thing goes with listing announcements. That is exactly the same thing, where anytime you get a new listing, and again, this is done automatically. So you put it in through the MLS, things are put into here, and that announcement goes out to everybody who subscribe to it on a very quick and easy basis. So we would hit add. Under the listing announcements, you would just say, I already did this one, but it would say you could add subscription, and then it would immediately subscribe this person to get all of my listing announcements. And again, I get to choose how often these go out. And when I tell you that this is pretty quick, when I go in here to set a customer up, I would just literally click on these things. I would click down here and say add. That would take 2 clicks. It's done in like 10 seconds. So neighborhood news is nothing that takes a long time. The other cool thing with neighborhood news, I'll actually pull up my website, is you don't even need to have to send it to somebody. They can actually find out, they can get it on their own just by seeing your website. So if what you're looking at now is my website that I made, it is a Moxi website. And if you notice here, there's a little person icon on the top right. So people can have their own profile. And when they create it here and they do all their searching here on your website, all that information filters over to Moxi Engage. So it's going to start showing up. It could create them as a client. Then you have all of this information here with your activity. But in addition, if they came across and they were on your site and they wanted to, let's go to neighborhood news right there, they literally can sign themselves up as well. So when you're filtering what you have on your social media like Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and you're sharing your site, your website, you're just allowing people to have this as a resource point to, without being stressful as an agent, shoving things in their face, they can decide on their own as well. They want information for their area, as you can see here. This is to the street, so Pearl Road in Strongsville. Things on the market near it. It literally has a built-in mortgage calculator. They can come in and still have all the intuitive interaction if they wanted to. Again, this is all the information here, but they literally can sign up for themselves. So not only can you actually put a client on the neighborhood news to receive it, they as well can put themselves on, and when they do, it provides to you their information. So it's lead capture. And again, it's helping people stay on top of their area. And when it comes time for them to move, you're going to be the person that they reach out to because you're the one that has provided them the resource point to that point. So the neighborhood news and listing announcements are very important. And I would love for you guys to get your sphere going and get those things immediately added on. Doesn't take any time out of your day, and it just helps give them great information. So that was the left side. We covered the importance of what we've got going over here. But now I'm going to literally walk you through the sales flow. This system literally tells you what to do, which is why I think it is beneficial to you as a busy agent with a lot on your plate and mind. To get to our sales flow, we're going to click right here. This particular one, it says buyer right now, but what we can pay attention to is the 4 sales flow areas. marketing. So when you first meet somebody, and let's say you don't even know them yet, or you just met them, but they're not your client yet, what is really great is it gives you all of your tasks. All 4 of these areas, prospects, actives, and pending, these are different stages. Engage walks you through it. And as you can see, it's got the arrow going this way. So you start off in marketing. It gives you all the tasks you need to do to market to that sphere or that person. The minute that you do all of those, as an example, you can go ahead and click on these different tasks to mark that you've got them done, because it makes the suggestion for you. It literally tells you what to do. Once you're done with that and they become an actual prospect, you move them over to, it goes to the prospect's sales flow time, meaning it now changes all the tasks to that of what you would need for a prospect. So if you're wondering what to do and when, this is going to literally guide you through, tells you what to do, and it gives you the date to try to complete it by. In the event you wanted to do this, but you couldn't do it on that date, you literally have the option of coming in here, editing it. You can mark it as done, and then you can click on the more button here, and you can delegate it to somebody else. Let's say you're on a team or you have a partner. You can actually work with them through the Engage system to stay on top of what you're doing for each person. So I want you to kind of think about this as an efficiency tool to help you clear the clutter. You have, let's say, 100 people in your sphere that you've uploaded contacts for, or 200, or 1,000, or 2,000. There's just no way you can know everything that's going on individually with each one. And it gets very stressful to remember where each person is at in the day of their history with you. So this lets you not only utilize pre-made tasks, you can jump in here, and as previously shown in the 101 training, you can add your own tasks so that you can personalize it for that specific person, because not every transaction is exactly the same. So when you start working with them, you can say, okay, I've already scheduled a meet and greet, because at this point, what you would have assumed is that with the marketing, they've responded to, let's say, your neighborhood news. They said, you know, I'm interested, might be interested to put my house on the market and buy a property, or I'm interested maybe to buy a property and not rent anymore. That would move them to a prospect now, because there's some activity. And then each time I come in here and I complete a task, I'm literally going to check it, see how it took it away, put it down here. So if I accidentally did it by accident, I could uncheck it and it would go back. This just gives you suggestion point, and watch what happens when I complete all of them. So I can literally complete all my tasks, and it will automatically help me go to the next zone, because at this point, the idea would be, once you're going through the prospects here, mailing them, you're getting to obtain the signed agreement. So this would be your client agreement. So it walks you through the steps in that sales flow. Then when you get to where you are at with that prospect to be in a signed agreement with them, it lets you go to the next zone, which becomes active, because once they have a contract with you, they are now an active client versus a prospect, where the marketing would be just a general sphere, cold leads, warm leads, but there's been nothing yet to indicate that they're ready to start searching. So that's the difference here. Marketing is you're just marketing to the sphere, takes you through that sales flow. Then once there's a response, Engage takes you into the prospect's sales flow, where it gives you the specific tasks that you would need for a prospect. It lets you maintain the flow of that. When you're done, you can either have all of these checked off, or you can immediately come up to the top and see how it says move to active zone. It's going to immediately take you to the next step. So it just makes you aware, once you move forward, you can't return. I'm going to say yes, but just so you know, you can return. I've done this many times where I just played with the system, and it lets you go all the way to the end and then all the way back. So don't ever feel like if you go forward, you can't go back. But in this position, now you're dealing with a client who is your active, right? So now Beth Glass, I've been with her now for a couple of weeks. I marketed to her through neighborhood news. Then she replied to neighborhood news and said she was interested in maybe buying a property. So then we moved her to prospects. And very quickly, we're just seeing in here, This just helps you what to do when you're dealing with a buyer. Schedule your interview, create a buyer's packet. Some of you guys we've already got some of those things pre-made for you. Prepare for the interview. These are just general suggestions. So again, if you want to add to it, you can do so by hitting add tasks, but it's the same concept where it's just we're taking you down the sales flow to keep you on track. And here's the idea. This is Beth Glass, but there are 15 other transactions that you're working on, or 2 or 3. Every person is in a different phase. And let's say you have 2 buyers, and then did you get the interview prepared for one and not the other? It just helps you to clear the clutter so that in a moment you can, on your computer, on your iPad, or on your cell phone, you can see this exact view by going into Moxi and seeing instantaneously where you're at with that specific person. So when life comes and takes over and you're taking your kids to carpool and you've got a meeting and a doctor's appointment and dinner and 5 million things you're doing, you know that you don't have to retain all that information in your mind for this client because your Moxi system is doing it for you. So it's actually showing you what you should do and letting you also add tasks to keep you on track and to stay in communication with that person. So we are now in an active zone. We're looking, we're checking out different properties, and it literally takes you through the process. So when Beth's ready, let me go ahead and still letting people in, sorry. When Beth is ready, there, you guys can actually see in here, it says create offer, present offer. When we're ready and we're like, okay, we found the house she wants to see, here's where some of the cool part comes into play, because now we get to move her into the next sales flow, which is now the pending transaction. So let's say she found a house, and we're going to show you it in a minute. And we just say as a projected estimated close date, this is nothing that needs to be anything locked in. This is just saying, okay, today is June 3rd. We're just going to say project. I'm just going to do a month from now just to get the system, just to get it set up. And yes, we're now taking her from, you guys can see that in there. It immediately took me into the transaction. So it took me to the very next step. I'm going to show you where I went when it took me here automatically. I'm going to cancel that for just a second. Okay. So now it just says move to pending zone. That's what I just did. So that's all I've done to get me to that next section. I'm going to show you. Here we go. Pending zone. It automatically took me in here. So if it's pending, it knows it's pending because we're working on a product, or I'm sorry, a property. And the cool thing is, you guys, this is integrated with Moxi and MLS Live. So that means we're going to literally plug in the MLS number of the property that she is interested in buying and that we're working on a contract with. And do you see how it immediately found it? In seconds, it populated it for us. It has now connected it to our Engage system. We can come down here, and if there was maybe, let's say, a husband or somebody that's now joined on to this deal that wasn't initially, you can type their name in right here. But here's where some of the magic happens. Right here, if I click this little box that says create a loop named Beth Glass, it literally is going to take the information from Engage, go into .loop, which is where we have our signed contracts, our digital contracts. It's going to create the transaction and start to populate the paperwork, saving you a lot of time. So I'm going to go ahead and hit done. And it's even cooler because what we did in the background when we're working with them, we let them choose what profile to use, because some people have more than one .loop profile. So just to make sure you're getting the correct one. And then to make it even sweeter for you, it actually lets you choose your template type. So in .loop, you're just establishing here if it's going to be a listing loop. So you're working with a seller and it's going to be the seller property, or a purchase loop where you're working with a buyer and it's going to be the buying paperwork. So by clicking that here, it's literally going in, logging you into .loop, creating that digital transaction, pulling in the client information, starting to populate all of that paperwork for you and save you a lot of time. So you can see my green box. It says the loop was created. The information was sent over. Now I've just merged engage with .loop, taking some time out of my day that I was going to have to do that. And if you can see here, we still have tasks. So you still get to continue to utilize the tasks option. Details is where we added the property. So if you get to this section and it doesn't take you there automatically, it's just the details option where you can come in here, hit edit, and it lets you plug the MLS number in or change the MLS number. And this is relevant because if the offer goes downhill and then it's a new property, you can just come back in here and plug in the new MLS number and move forward. So you're not like creating a profile, having the transaction not go through and then making a whole new complete different profile. That's not going to be needed for you. But what it does add is it adds a new .loop tab here that doesn't exist until you connect it in the previous section. And when I click on visit loop, it's now going to go into .loop. I'm actually able to jump in here and sign in. If I was already in it today, it would have kept me in there, but I just now logged out of it for the purposes of doing this training live. So bear with me here. I'm going to go ahead and log in. Let me see if I can remember what hers was. Bear with me 1 second. And then it's going to continuously log you into here from here on out. Okay. And 1 second. Let's see. There we go. So it created the loop. And as you guys can see now here, I have all of the contract paperwork already done in here ready for me. And it's the purchase folder. And the benefit here is because you're doing it starting off and engaged, it pulls all that information in, and where you would have had to go to view details and edit in all of the information, it pulls it in for you. So that is the connection when it comes to working with your client and getting your transaction ready. And as you guys can see here, you actually get all of your task lists. So the minute you're done here, oh, wrong one, sorry, extra one here. Then when you're done and the transaction is completed, you can come in here and close transaction. And then as you guys see, before I hit the word yes, would you like to inform your just sold subscribers that this listing is now sold? So you say yes. So again, it's creating the marketing for you. It's pulling this fear out that you haven't engaged, marketing to them and showcasing the business you've just done. Again, staying in front of your consumer, being first and foremost the one that they see, and having that activity is so much better than seeing somebody on Facebook just saying, I'm the best because I just sold everything, right? We're doing classy marketing and tactful marketing. I'm going to go ahead and say no because I want to keep this transaction open just for training purposes. But essentially that's engage. And the great part about this is we're in Beth's profile. It literally let us see her activity, everything she's doing from opening to working with my website. I get to see the searches she's liking and creating. I get to create them for her. I get to see the houses she's liking when she favorites them. I have this whole sales flow that literally navigates me through from prospect marketing to where I haven't even communicated with her yet, all the way to prospect, to working with them as an active buyer, to a pending client and the deal being closed. And all of this information pulls over to, if you look at my navigational panel, it says dashboard, people, calendar, goals, and campaigns. I'm at the top. Dashboard is a collection of all of your people. So when I tell you this is intuitive, this literally tells you what to do. Based off your activity, it tells you who to reach out to. So that 4 to 5 people you're supposed to contact every day, .loop actually is intuitive and finds them for you, picks them out, and lets you actually dictate right here what you've done. So you can say how you've reached out. You can come in here and skip it or mark it done, and then your next people will show up for the next day. So it doesn't just tell you who to communicate with. It does actually on an overall basis show you your activity. So if I have 100 people getting my campaigns and I've got 3 buyers and all of a sudden this is a lot of information to try to retain. This gives me an overall of what happened within the last 24-hour period. So this just lets me see that, of course, I'm just in here as me, but it would say Beth Glass opened the email search you sent her and saved it. And it would say Jim Glass opened neighborhood news. So as a whole, I could see my overall activity, and I don't even have to go into my individual client, which is amazing. And again, the top part and the bottom is what I would recommend when you wake up in the morning, have your cup of coffee, have your cup of tea, your cup of water. You should jump in here, start your day off strong, see who you're going to need to communicate with instead of trying to figure it out for yourself. Engage is going to tell you what to do and who to communicate with. And for those of you who have ongoing clients in here as an agent, it's literally going to show you what tasks are needed for that day. So again, I want you to imagine having 5 different buyers at the same time. And this is going to just show you what was needed to do on your to-do list or your task list for that buyer that day. So it doesn't show you everything for Beth, but it'll show you what's needed for Beth that day and what's needed for Jim that day. So this is an overall glance, just clearing the clutter, helping you manage your business. As we might have shown you in the previous session, it does also give you your calendar events. It connects to your calendar, so it lets you showcase what your day is going to look like. And then it tells you with an overall, how many people do you have in your marketing? This is just a training account, otherwise there'd be more. How many people are in the prospects category? How many people do you have in actives? How many people do you have pending? So when it comes to your goals, we now can get a better understanding of where you're at with your goal for the year. So again, this homepage, this general dashboard is an overview of all of this stuff. Okay, let's look to the top, navigational board. Dashboard is accumulation of people, calendar, and goals and campaigns. So all the activity you do here, this is an overview of all of it, making it simple for you. So managing at a glance your overall business, and then people let you go into the individual people by clicking My People. Now you can click on goals. We're almost done here with engage, but it literally breaks it down for you on a very clear, concise, and easy way to know not only where you're at today, but where your projected business is going. So if you can see here, because it's connected to the MLS, it's going to pull in closed transactions. So I can see the number of buyers and sellers. I get specifics here with close time, average size, close rate, and it literally lists them right here. So you can click right on them, go into that client or transaction. And all of this is, again, intuitive because it's pulled from Engage. I didn't have to do anything to get them to be here. It started off in the MLS, it feeds in through Engage, and it comes into goals. So I get to see my closed transactions. On the left, I'm clicking active and pending. So this is actually showcasing to me the ones that are in current active mode that are pending, my prospects, so those that I have potential lead to close, but they're not a physical pending at this time. You can it pulls those in for you. And then this is the cool part. Here is your GCI forecast. Your GCI forecast is the combination of your closed transactions and your active and pending from the MLS that pull in automatically, your prospects that you put in personally through Engage, and then it averages those together. So you get to see your forecast annually for buyers and sellers, and again, it breaks it down. And if you want to get real competitive, because I know there are specific people who are, it lets you do comparable to see where you land versus your office versus your MLS. So it's so exciting. The last thing we're going to cover real quick, because we're going to jump over to the next session in here in just a couple of minutes at 2:15, is the last tab, and it's campaigns. The good news is it's so easy that it doesn't take hardly any time to even show you how to use it. And every time I teach people how to do this, they get their campaign up and running within minutes after the class ends. So that just means it's easy for you guys to do it. You just have to be shown how and where. When you click on campaigns, it's going to load you into the My Campaigns tab. You will see it says eBlast, Neighborhood News, and My Emails. The My Campaigns is going to be showcasing to you with nothing here until you do a campaign. So this is essentially your campaign library of the campaigns you set up. It will be nothing here until you set one up. But what's great is they've now done it in a way that's easy to manage. It will show you how many campaigns you've pulled over, which I will show you in a minute. It will show you how many you have pulled over but are partially set up but not completed. And then it will show you how many that are fully completed and running, how many you have paused, and how many you have archived. So you have, at a quick glance, get to see where you stand. Once you have a campaign that you do start, it will give you a glimpse. So as you can see here, I've started a holiday campaign that was already ready for me. And then I just turned it on and I added my people. And it gives me the open rates here. So for you guys, you're going to send them to actual people and it will work. But then you're going to see the percentage of open rate. You're going to see if anybody unsubscribed, which is an indication of who you should or shouldn't communicate with. Then it tells you how many people. So this is, again, just an overview of what's running. And then it gives you a little sneak peek into each one just to see where you're at presently. And then also with where you are when the next one should be sent. So let's show you how to get your campaigns going. To get into campaigns or to pull them to your library, there's a main library, and that's the top right-hand corner, add from library. So here's how it works. These campaigns are pre-built, but they're in a library. And right now, this area will be blank. If you go to the library and pull the campaigns out, just like a real library getting a book, and put them in your library, which is my campaigns, it will then show up for you. So that seems to be the best way to kind of explain it. I'm going to click Add from Library. And what it does is it gives you all of these great campaigns. They are from Coldwell Banker Schmidt family of companies. They are branded to you in your specific area. So when you log into Moxi, you'll see the one that's relevant to you. And they also have some in here from Moxi. So if you can see here, I have campaigns. We have a working virtual campaign. And then for those who are management or ASCs, we have some recruiting campaigns. Ignore these because I'm making them right now for our Sotheby's brand. There's seasonal home maintenance, spring forward campaign. And then we've got holiday cards. So those are simple set up already. And then we've got, again, some more holiday greetings. But here's the cool part. Look, we have some set up for buyers that are warm prospects, sellers, warm prospects, new leads, so you haven't even communicated with them yet. We have some for recently closed buyer and recently closed seller. The cool part is they're ready to go. The way that you pull them in and just throw them into your library is literally seconds. So if I come in here, I'm going to say this seasonal home maintenance. If I go all the way to the right, I can click preview to see the campaign. It's just going to be a very quick preview and make it easy for you. So you can actually see each one here. You can scroll up and down. You can notice that it pulls the information in for you, and they're going to receive it in email format. So when you plug in your website and your email, again, your social media will all show up down here or at the top, and it will be clickable. So that means they get to go into your social media or your website or whatever you want, as long as you set it up in that account section, as I showed you in the beginning. Now, this is 1 of 4, so you can see my cadence here. It'll tell you the date of when the campaign schedule was, and then I can select this little arrow here, and it will then literally show me each particular card in the series. So it's ready to go. You guys don't have to do anything. I'm going to hit close. But to add it to your library, let me show you how I did it. I go to Add from Library. It gives me the company library of all of the campaigns. I'm going to let it load, and then I'm going to select this one right here, Seasonal Home Maintenance 2021. I'm going to take my eyes to the right, and I'm literally going to click Add to Campaigns. That's it. You're just going to click Add to Campaigns, and then for as many as you want, it's literally going to pull it over, and it's now going to be available to you, see that? In seconds. So now I've added that to my campaign library. But what we do just very quickly here to get it started, it takes just a couple seconds. Right here, you can see that I pulled 3 campaigns in from my library. So I went in and I pulled 3 in. It tells me there are 3 here. There are 2 campaigns that I haven't added any of my people to yet. So it says awaiting setup. That's what I'm going to click. And it's going to show me the two that I have pulled in, but I haven't turned on. So for me to go ahead and very quickly turn it on, I'm just going to click on the actual campaign. We're almost done here. It's going to be just one more minute. And we're going to roll over to our next trainer. But literally, this is already such a great flow sequence between your contacts and campaigns that it really does the work for you. It makes it very fast. So now here is just the inside, and there's literally one thing I have to do. See, if you look right here, here's the name of the actual campaign. I can change the name if I want to, but I'm gonna leave it alone. I only have to click on right here where it says recipients. I'm gonna click setup. So what's great is there's not a lot of buttons. Like it's kind of hard to lose your way because there's not much to push. Then we're gonna go to add recipients, and then it's gonna pull all of your contacts in. So I can manually add people individually, but if I already pulled them in through contacts using groups or labels the way that we've showed you, you're gonna have a very quick and easy way of being able to just select your group that you wanna cater to specifically. So if I wanna go just to buyers, it's gonna then pull out everybody in that buyer label. I'm gonna click add. In seconds, it's gonna pull those in. If you've got like 800 or 900, it's gonna take you a little time for those to load. Please wait for it to be done or your campaign will not start. So once I see my people, I'm gonna hit save. We're almost done, literally at the last second here, and then hit run campaign and I'm done. I mean, you guys watch, let's do this again. I'm gonna do it so quickly for you, just as a quick recap, but the campaign center couldn't be any easier. I mean, of course we could do it for you, that would make it easier. But as far as you doing it on your own, it's a couple clicks. And for those taking notes, I'm gonna do it real fast and then we're gonna switch over, change our gears. But again, we were in Engage. We clicked on campaigns in the top. When it loaded, my campaigns doesn't show anything in my campaign center until I add it to my campaign center from the company library by clicking on add from library. Here it's going to load all of the pre-made campaigns, of which I can choose I want to use working virtually. I can preview it or I can just click add to campaigns. It's now taking it from the company library and pulling it into my personal, my campaigns area. I'm gonna make sure I go to awaiting setup right here, because that means I pulled it over, but I didn't turn it on yet. I'm gonna click on the campaign itself and do two very quick things, and then I'm all set. And Judy, are you taking over for me today? Is that you? I didn't look at the schedule today, but I think so. If you are, we'll be ready here in just a second. So here I'm in the campaign. All I've done is under the recipients area, click setup and then add recipients. Within seconds, I'm either individually adding them or I'm going to groups and adding my group as a whole. At this point, I'm choosing add. It's pulling my people in. If I have a lot of people, I'm going to wait until I see this magical button light up in blue. I'm going to hit save. Benny and Felicia are going to get a lot of emails from me. And then I'm going to hit run campaign. If I don't want to do it now, that's what this option is, by the way, finish later. But I'm going to hit run campaign. And now these are going to automatically go out for me. And clicking preview tells me when they're going to go out. And then specifically gives me the preview of it as well. So one thing you'll notice with the campaign, some are on a specific cadence where they're seasonal. So if you started somebody in May and it's a seasonal campaign, it is not going to send them anything before May. It's going to start off where they start with. If it is not a seasonal specific date campaign, it will start off the new person at the first campaign email, tracks it for you. So now take a look. I have 4 campaigns total. I only have 1 awaiting setup. I have 2 that are running and then some that are paused from a previous session. So pretty simple in usage. Again, just making it possible for you guys to see where to go. I'm going to run through here and answer some quick questions. and then we'll switch over to our next training. And again, if you guys have any other specific questions, you can always reach out to me via email, elizabeth.glass@cbschmidtohio.com. I'm happy to help you guys as well. I see Michael saying, please send the recording as well. Okay, I can do that. I can upload it and then get it in an email to you guys. For those of you asking for the PDFs from the beginning, we'll get the recording inclusive on that as well. So I have a question that says, what is the difference between fave and save? If the fave is the heart, what is the save for? So the fave is the heart. That means it's a favorite house. The save means that it's a saved listing search. So for example, when we did a property search for houses, and this was the property search. As an example, it was houses between 400,000 and 600,000 when we saved the search. So she likes looking at those houses in those ranges. That's the difference between those two. And the fave is the heart. So the specific house in that listing search that they liked. So hopefully that answered that. Okay, and then it says, how do you move them back to marketing from prospects? Well, it's very pretty quick and easy sales flow. I'm gonna go to my people here. And you literally just click on the navigation panel right before it. I'm gonna go right back into Beth and show you guys. So thank you for asking your questions today. I think it's better for you guys to see things firsthand. So right now I have Beth, they're asking, how do you move backwards? So let's say you're no longer here, that deal fell through. What makes it easy is I can come right back on the previous section and I can click on it and it says, please confirm, are you sure you want to move backwards? And I'm going to say yes. And I'm able to strip it back as many times as I need to. I've literally done this on this client maybe 6 or 7 times. So again, if I wanted to move back, I just continue to move backwards all the way. And that's how you move backward if you needed to. If I add a buyer after a campaign is already running, will it auto add them because they're new now in the group or no? So if you are adding them to a group that says sellers and they're being added to the sellers group, it will automatically include them. You do not have to individually as a person go into campaigns and add them. But let me clarify that. When Elizabeth comes into my, let's go to overview. Sorry, this is taking a couple minutes extra here. Let's do my people. When you upload your contacts, we ask that you make a label or a group name. So when you're uploading them with a, let's say, a buyer's group name, and then I put that whole buyer's group on the campaign, and I'm uploading, let's say, Jim Smith to buyers, it's going to automatically include them in the buyer campaign. So as long as you've uploaded them with that correct label and you have that label running a campaign, it will allow you to include them as well. But if I uploaded Beth and I did not have buyer on here as a specific tag, then I would have to manually add her to that group. And I could do that by going into her actual area, her profile, or I can just add her right here as well. Makes it pretty simple. You guys have some great questions, and I think that was it. If you have any other questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. Our second training we are going to do today should be taking over here in just a minute. Judy, is that you?
Yes, I am here.
Oh, you took a couple extra minutes, but they had some good questions and
all right. Well, I'd like them all to kind of shake it off and get a cup of coffee, whatever they need. So let's see, what time is it? Let's go ahead and get started with GSuite at 2:25. So take 5 minutes to fill up your coffee cup, get some soda, whatever you need to do, and we will get started with GSuite.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thanks, Elizabeth.
And I'm going to continue to record this. So if anyone asks for your portion, just let me know and I can get you the link.
Sounds good. Thanks. All right, we'll get started in about 2 more minutes. All right, well, good afternoon, everybody. It is a wonderful day to be in Traverse City. I'm sitting in Traverse City today and am looking forward to going over some tips and tricks for using our GSuite account or your GSuite account provided to you. I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen, and we're just going to hop right in and get going. And here we are looking at my GSuite. Go ahead and ignore how many emails I have in mine. A lot of what we're going to talk about today is going to help you coordinate and organize an inbox when it starts getting crazy like this. So we'll start in the actual Gmail part of GSuite. We're going to look at organizing your emails, organizing tasks. We're going to look at settings and how to add things like your email banner. Then we're going to jump into calendar, and we're going to spend a lot of time after that in contacts. One of my priorities in helping you utilize your GSuite account is to increase or enhance the communication between your GSuite account and your MoxiWorks account. Everything that happens here in GSuite, as far as your contacts and your calendars, automatically feeds into your Engage account. So making sure that you're coordinated and organized here is going to ensure that you are coordinated and organized in your Moxi account. So just a little bit of organization, or a little bit about your actual Gmail account. You'll see that I have everything here coordinated, and my scroll bar is not working, sorry. But I have my inbox broken up into what GSuite refers to as labels. In other email accounts, you might think of them as folders. They're kind of interchangeable. However, in Gmail, you can either move something into the label and get it out of your inbox, or you can add a label to it and keep it in your inbox. So you have two different ways of working with labels in GSuite. So Kelly is in our Grand Haven office. This is an email I don't really have to do anything with. So maybe I just want to immediately move it over here into this folder that I have for my Grand Haven office. To do so, I usually just go ahead and click on this little box. My contextual menu will pop up. And right here is the move to icon. So if I physically want to move this email into my Grand Haven folder, I would just click on the icon and click on Grand Haven, and it is now moved out of my inbox and into this label or folder, however you want to refer to it. This one right here, again, is one that I don't really need, but let's say that I did need it and I wanted to keep it in my inbox, but I wanted to give it the appropriate label so I knew exactly what this email referred to. Instead of clicking on the move to, I can click on the labels, and I can select again that Grand Haven folder. Now, the nice thing about doing it this way is, say that this email actually referred to a couple different items. Maybe I wanted to put it in an address folder as well as a buyer labeled folder with a name on it. I can pick as many different labels as I want to for this particular email. All right. So then if I go to those folders, it will be in both of these folders. And it will also stay in my inbox. But you'll see those labels then show up right here with that email. All right, so I know we just jumped right in. Don't hesitate to pop some questions in the chat bar, or go ahead and unmute yourself. Tell me I need to slow down, ask me to repeat something, whatever you need to do, go ahead and use those tools to let me know to do so. This is actually not something that I personally have to do anything with, so I'm actually going to select my trash can icon, and that will actually remove it from all those folders at one time. One of the biggest things I get phone calls for, and I like to refer to right away, is I get those phone calls as soon as a new agent gets that email banner. They want to know how to put it in their GSuite account or in their Gmail account so that it shows up in the bottom of their emails. So a lot of those housekeeping items are done over here by clicking on the gear icon. So a lot of things can be done here. You can change the look of your email box, depending on how you work best. I like the default. You can change a theme. So if you want to add a color background or something, just to kind of jazz it up a little bit, that can be done here as well. Oh, I don't know where those little guys came from. That's kind of cool. So I'm going to go ahead and take it back to normal. I'm just clicking too fast. That's my problem. And not letting it readjust. It's taking time. Let's go with, oh, these guys are cute. So I'll go with that for now. But you can see how those can be saved. Now that does make this menu look funky. So I would go back up to my gear if I didn't like that, and I would go ahead and switch it back to something else. Now I can see everything and I can maneuver around, but I have that nice, pretty background. So just go ahead and click around and you can change a lot of these things. Just see how it affects your viewing experience and what you like best. Those are your quick settings. Now to get back into all of those settings and changing those email banners and all that nitty-gritty stuff, you'll go right here out of quick settings to see all settings. And again, a lot of these are self-explanatory. You can go ahead and scroll down and see how things work. One thing that a lot of people have a preference over is their conversation view. Conversation view on is going to, if you're communicating back and forth with a particular individual, it's going to bulk all of those emails together. Some people find that a little problematic because sometimes maybe an email will get buried in that conversation view. So a lot of us keep it on conversation view off, but you can go ahead and play with some of these settings and see what works best for you. The smart replies and where's the other one? The smart replies are nice because if you're in a hurry, it will suggest answers to emails like, thanks for the information, thanks for the update. And all you have to do is click on that and hit send and it will go. So having that on is kind of nice. You don't have to use it, but it will give you those suggestions. But right down here, this is the important thing that we came in here to look at. And this is your signature. You can also add an image here if you want your picture to appear up here in your little account logo. And it will also, I believe, appear next to your name on some emails. I'm sorry, I didn't pull that up to check. But your email signature, that's super important. You work really hard to brand yourself and to get marketing to get that up and running for you and looking sharp. So to get this into your emails, you're just going to click create or create new if you already have one. You'll name the signature and click create. So then now I've got this new one here with nothing there. So now I can start editing it and creating that email signature. If marketing has made a banner for you, you're just going to click on this image icon here and find that banner. I'm going to go ahead and grab that. So you'll either, if it's in your drive, you'll just go to your drive and find it, but you can also upload it from your computer by clicking here on this upload button. I keep mine in my Google Drive, which we'll touch on in a little bit. So I just have to click on it here and select. Now it's going to populate into your signature box. You'll see this one's pretty darn big. And if I were to go ahead and leave it that size, it would probably be a little wide for some devices, or if people were opening it up in a small browser window. So if you click on this image, you can actually resize it. And that comes in handy because oftentimes marketing sends them out quite large. So you can change that down to medium, large, or original size. I kind of like large myself because it's big enough to read, but it's not so big that it's going to take up too much space in a smaller browser window. Then I could go ahead. Now that all of the changes are made, you're always going to want to save. So to save anything on this page, you're going to go to the bottom and click Save Changes. And then it will obviously pop you out of the settings. So one other thing we want to kind of look at here in the settings, other than just poking through and looking at some of the other ones that you may want to try using, is out of office. Maybe this isn't as important for an agent as it is for a company employee, but still, if you're going out of country, you're on vacation, you may not be getting back to your clients in as timely a manner as you usually do. This out of office is a good thing to set up, and you can just automatically turn it on or off, set the dates that you will be out of office and that you want that to come through. Anytime you go into your email, it will remind you that you're out of office. So if you come back to the office sooner and you're going to start responding regularly, there'll be a bar at the top where you can just turn that off. You don't even have to come in here to your settings. So that's a lot of the settings stuff that you will be using. One other thing I do like to touch on, just because we do have some people that want to forward this email. They don't always come into their GSuite account, but they do want to utilize it because they want to utilize the functionality with Moxi. If you want to forward this somewhere else, you're just going to come here to where it says forwarding. And you can go ahead and add that forwarding address right here by clicking this box. So if you want to forward this to your personal email, so you're not having to log in back and forth on your phone or something like that, but you do want the functionality of GSuite for your Moxi account, this is where you could set up that forward. And that's under the forwarding and pop IMAP. And this is all you have to do. You don't have to do any of these other things. You just have to hit that add forwarding address. All right. And any questions so far about basic Gmail functions and settings? All right, we look good. So some of the other things that I really enjoy about Gmail and that keeps me organized are right over here on the right hand side. You'll see some extra buttons. So I'm going to click tasks. I'm going to click one of those buttons just to open up this side window. So if you don't want the hassle of having to pop back and forth between your Gmail account and your GSuite calendar, you can actually click this top icon and it is going to show you your calendar for the next few days. It's going to obviously start with the next thing that you have on your calendar coming up. and then it'll go through your whole calendar and everything that you have on schedule. So it's nice to be in here and to be able to see everything all at once. Another thing that I find extremely useful, we all get a lot of emails, and sometimes there's something that we do have to follow up on. We can't follow up right at that moment, but we've got so many emails coming in that there is a possibility that that email is going to get buried, and we might miss that opportunity to complete that, what's asked of us in that email. So if we click right here where it says tasks, it's the third little icon down in this little right-hand navigation bar. There's a way to actually add an email to your task list right here. And the nice thing about that, so I'm going to say that I need to follow up on this, but I can't do it right this moment. So you'll notice as I drag, it's going to tell me drop to create a new task. So now not only has that been added to my task list, so I have something to check off on my to-do list. If that email gets buried, now here's one that was a really long time ago. So this one's really way buried in my emails. But if I go ahead and click on this, in fact, it might be so buried that I might have deleted it. So let me go to something else. Okay. If I click on that box with the little picture of the email, it's going to open that whole email for me. So I don't have to remember anything about this task. I just need to remember to click on this image right here of the email, and it will take me there, and that will tell me what I had to do here. So now, say I've completed this task, all I have to do is check that box off, and it's going to take that task off my task list. And I no longer have to worry about that being there. So for me, this was super helpful because, again, we all get so many emails all the time, and we just want to make sure that those important ones, those ones that we really, really need to stay on top of and follow through on, are in a place where we're going to immediately be able to find them when we get done driving or get done on that home tour or whatever it was that kept us from doing that task right away. We're going to be able to come right here and find it quite quickly and easily, and to be able to get that completed. The other thing that you can see right here is your contacts. So if you're in your email, you don't want to hop out to contacts to find out how someone's phone number, you can go ahead and click on this icon and you can search for that contact right here. So there I would just click on this now, and I would have Carrie's contact information. I'd be able to give her a call or do whatever I needed to do. And it's right here in my email browser. I don't have to go out to my contacts to do that. All right, so the rest of the functionality is pretty basic. It works like most other email browsers. One thing that it would be good to know how to do if you are just starting this organizational structure for your email folders, is to know how to create a new folder or a new label. The easiest way I have found to do so is to go ahead and click on the email that I'm creating the new label for, click on the move to or the label icon, and find that create new right here. So then not only am I creating that label, and it's going to show up in my folder structure or label structure, it's also automatically going to put that new email into that label. So call this training and create. Now, say that this was training, but I also wanted to start a new folder under that training. I could also then create a new folder called Moxi, or I'm sorry, other way around. So I already have the Moxi label, and I'm putting this in a training label under the Moxi. So if I create that, you'll see when I get to my Moxi, I now have a training label under there. I've decided I don't want that label structure, so I can also then remove that label. So that would be how you would get rid of a label. Say you had a property address that you had a label for and you didn't need it anymore, you would just go ahead and remove it that way. It won't remove the emails, it will just remove the label. All right. So now we're going to hop over to calendars. Again, if you have any questions about the emails, structures, moving, labeling, any of that stuff, go ahead and pop those into the chat. To get to your calendar, if it isn't already open, I actually keep mine open all the time, but to get to it, if it was not open, you just click on the 9 dots, and this is where you're going to access any of your GSuite applications. So calendar is near the top. I'm just going to go ahead and grab that right there and open my calendar. Anything that you put on your calendar is going to feed through directly into your Moxi account as well. So you're going to be able to see your schedule and agenda in both places. So keeping this organized is also going to help keep your Moxi events organized as well. So one nice thing that you could do to feed through to your Moxi account is add a birthday calendar or an anniversary calendar or a house anniversary calendar. By keeping them separate in your real calendar, you can turn them off or on. But in your Moxi calendar, you'll be able to see those anniversaries and birthdays. So say I wanted to use my birthday calendar and I just had a client with a birthday and I want to remember it for next year. I can just add that. And save. Usually if it's a birthday or a house anniversary, I actually do it at the top, and that means that it's an all-day event. So rather than give it a time like 4 to 5 or whatever, I'm just going to put Leo's birthday right here at the top of that day so that it appears as an all-day event. As you're adding tasks, there's several other things that you can do. Let's see, Tessie's birthday. You can mark it as an event and out of office, a task or a reminder. So it's up to you whether you want to consider that an event or a reminder. I think it's a good idea to use a reminder since it's something that you want to make sure that Moxi's telling you about. But if it's an event or a training or a meeting with a client, say that they're hesitant about in-person meetings, you can go ahead and put that meeting on your calendar. Again, this would be more of a time-based event rather than day event. So I'm gonna start of that. So say that I had a client meeting and they were hesitant about in-person at noon on the 4th. I could go ahead and click right there on that time block. And let's see, listing appointment. Listing appointment with Bo. And I've set my time, but we can go ahead right here in this event that we're building. We can add a meeting and video conferencing. So once we click that, we can then also add guests. So if we have our client's email address, we can add that so that when we save this, we can send them an invitation to this meeting, and that will include the link and the information they need to join you virtually. So I know a lot of people still use Zoom as well, but right here built into your calendar, you can create the event, create the link to join the event, and notify the person you're meeting with the event information. I'm going to go ahead and cancel that out. And it will also notify you when they agree to meet you. So you'll get an email saying that so-and-so accepted the invitation to your meeting. All right. So we're moving right along. As you're in here in the calendar, you can change your view. So you can just, if you're really crazy hectic schedule, you can just view a day at a time, week, obviously month and year. So there's a variety of different ways you can view what's going on and what your agenda for the day, week, or month looks like. I like week view, kind of lets me know what's on deck for the next day, but still giving me enough detail for the day that I'm in. So let's see here. Think of any other things. We do have our settings as well, where you can change different aspects of how you view your calendar and what events are coming up, how to view your events. You can schedule it so that your calendar shows working hours, so that you can just kind of keep events within that timetable and that schedule. And that's kind of it. The calendar is pretty self-explanatory, pretty easy to use, but again, don't hesitate to reach out if you have any in-depth questions on calendars or how they work. You can also share calendars. So I know a lot of our offices use a shared floor calendar in Google Calendar, things like that. And you would just send an invitation. You would add people to that calendar. So if we go into Whitehall and I want to add someone to this calendar, I can go into settings or sharing. So maybe you work on a team, or maybe you want to share your calendar with your admin or your ASC. You can select your calendar. You can go into settings and sharings. And then all you would do is go down here to add people. And you would add the email address of the individual that you would like to share that calendar with. They'll get an email notification and they can click on a link to integrate that calendar into their own. Cancel that and go back. Get back to your calendar by clicking here next to settings. As you can see, I have a lot of calendars that have been shared with me. And then you can, once you have a calendar shared with you, if it's not something you have to see all the time, you can just click the little box to the left of the calendar name, and that will turn that calendar temporarily off until you come back in and turn it back on. All right, and now we're going to go to the big one. And this one, again, I like to focus and spend the most amount of time on contacts because this is the really, really important part for keeping both your GSuite and your Moxi coordinated and in sync. The nice thing is you only have to deal with it in GSuite. You don't have to update your CRM or your contacts in two different places. If you update them in GSuite, they're automatically going to feed over into your Moxi account. So if you have some downtime or some slow time, focusing on coordinating your contacts in your Moxi account is going to make using your CRM and engaging with Engage a lot more simple and productive for you as an agent. So I'm going to click on my 9 dots right here. That's going to take me into my Google applications. And I'm going to click right here on contacts. So these are my contacts in my GSuite account. And I also, just as in my Gmail account, I have created labels. Now, labels are really important as you get busier and want to market to specific groups of people. It's beneficial to go ahead and get those labels created in your GSuite contacts account. Because what's going to happen is all of these labels are going to turn into marketing buckets in my Moxi account. So there are different ways that I can market to people. I'm going to get rid of this one because I have it in here twice. I run out of ideas when I'm training. And by deleting that label, I'm not deleting contacts. I'm just deleting the label that those contacts lived in. So I'm going to hop over here to my Moxi account just real quick to show you what I'm talking about as far as marketing buckets. So here I am in my Moxi Engage account. And I'm just going to demonstrate real quick how quickly and effectively these marketing buckets can. Oh my goodness. Hopefully it's just slow. how quickly and effectively these marketing buckets can help you get information out to the correct clients in a quick and easy way. Make sure that this loads correctly. I think it was just because I was out of it for a while, so it went to sleep. There we go. That looks better. Okay, so we're in my Engage account, and I'm going to go over to my people. Check my questions. No, nothing in the chat. Okay, so we're in my people, and let's say that a listing just hit the market that's absolutely perfect for a huge portion of my sphere that are interested in farming. So in my GSuite contacts account, I actually have created a bucket or a label for those people that would be interested in that type of property. So now all I have to do is go to my filters. All of these groups right here have automatically come over from my GSuite account. I have not added these at all to Moxi. So here are my farming people. I'm going to go ahead and select them. And now by selecting them, the only people in this list now are people that have that tag attached to them. So if I select all of these people and I add them to, I'm sorry, I always do this backwards. Let's deselect. Let's go ahead and grab my email icon and start typing farm. So I've got Farm Town and Farming Friends. And those were groups in that group. I was doing it backwards. I was doing it as if I was doing campaigns. But now all I have to do is create a subject line. Hey, thought of you, blah, 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 when I saw this new listing hit the market. And I can then create an email. If I use a mail merge, I can actually tell the system to pull their first name from my account and create an email that looks like I uniquely sat down and spent the time to create an individual email just for this person. They are not going to see a BCC or a CCC. It's going to look like an individual email that I personally sent just to them. I can insert images of the property. I can attach an MLS detail sheet, whatever I need to do in this email to give them the information about the property that they need. But because I created these labels in my Gmail account, boom, I can immediately market to a specific group of people that I want to reach out to and to give information to. So I'm going to cancel that. I just kind of quick wanted to show you why I'm really passionate about making sure that you create all of the labels that would do your business well in the future. All of the types of property that you normally deal with or the types of people that you are normally looking for properties for. Find a way to create a label for those. You can also do labels for family members or people in your book club. However you want to distinguish people, go ahead and create as many labels as you need to get those people into the buckets that are going to make your life easier moving forward. Now, obviously, especially for new agents, it's easiest to get this done upfront before you have 2,000 people in your sphere list. But no matter how big or small your list is, I think it's really important to take the time to get these people into the appropriate marketing buckets. As you'll see in Engage 101, there's also a categorized wizard where you can put people into the buyer bucket, the seller bucket, things like that. But here is a way for you to uniquely categorize your people into things that are going to help you with your business. All right, so how do we do this? We scroll down to the bottom, and obviously this is going to be really short in the beginning you're just going to go here to create label. You'll create the label. I don't think I've done that one yet. We'll do those two. So there's also things that we do, customer appreciation things like flower flat giveaways, pumpkin giveaways, Christmas tree giveaways. Those are also labels. You can create mailing labels out of Moxi if you have these labels created in your GSuite account. They'll feed over, so you can get those postcards out quickly. You don't have to stop and think about it or edit that old Excel spreadsheet that's been sitting on your computer. You can have these labels ready to go. We'll do pumpkin giveaway and we'll save. Oh, I did already do that one. What else can we give away? We'll get creative here. We'll have a card giveaway. How's that for customer appreciation? Save. And now that label's created. So I can go ahead and click on anybody that I want to put in that bucket. And then again, just like we did in the contacts, I can go up here and click on that label. Look for my card giveaway. And now any of those people will have that new car giveaway added to them as soon as I click the apply button. So there we go. There they are. Now the other option, rather than creating the label first, is to select a bunch of contacts. Click the label, and just like before, we can create the label from the selection we've made. Are actually dog lovers. I don't think I've done that one yet. And now the dog lover label has been applied to all of these people that are selected, or it should have been. Yeah. Oops. Yeah. Okay. I didn't see it, but it says it is. So we should be good. All right. So adding contacts. Two ways you can add contacts. Obviously, you can create a contact right here to do a single contact. This is nice with maybe open houses or something. If you've got your phone with you, you can add contacts directly into your Google Contacts right on your phone, or you can come in here and do it as well. Or you can upload a spreadsheet. So say you did an export out of Zap, you can import that spreadsheet right here into GSuite. Now, one thing, it is a little bit of an extra step, but it helps make sure that your contacts are importing correctly. What I feel is the easiest thing to do is go ahead and grab a couple of your contacts, preferably ones with as much information already in them as you're going to want to bring in on a spreadsheet. So let's get somebody with a phone number as well. And go ahead to your three dots right here and export that spreadsheet. Because what that's going to do is it's going to give you a format that Google is going to expect. So in other words, the name of your headers are going to look like what Google wants them to look like. If you export this and then open it up and make sure that you're copying and pasting the appropriate headers onto your spreadsheet. You don't have to recreate your spreadsheet, but where it says name, copy and paste this to make sure that this is the header. Some of them, like name, pretty self-explanatory, they may match up, but when they're looking for first name, they're calling it given name, where most of us are used to calling it first name. And I found that occasionally, if you don't change the headers, it's going to skip information that it doesn't recognize. All of these extra ones that you're not going to use, you can get rid of. But just making sure that the headers match what Google expects to see coming in, it's just going to make that process smoother. You're going to be less likely to have any hiccups. It's not mandatory, but if you're a little tech savvy and you don't mind an extra step or two, this is going to help make things import more smoothly if you're pulling information in from another database or CRM. I'm going to close that out. And again, that's just by selecting contacts with the information you're planning to import. So say you wanted street address and all that as well. I would go in and edit your contact by clicking on it. Oops. Unclick it. Oops. I'm getting click happy today. It's definitely an afternoon. So, why is it not opening? Oh, okay, I'm sorry. It's a little pencil right here. I haven't been in here in a while. So just make sure that everything that you want to pull in is on this edit contact sheet. So if you're looking to add a physical address or anything like that, you may want to make sure that you click on show more. Add all of that information or any information that's on your current spreadsheet that you're planning to bring in, even things like birthdays, whatever you want to add, complete this, then export somebody with the full information so that you're getting the correct headers that you're looking for. Hopefully that makes sense to everybody. But I have found that is the easiest way to get a correct upload of a contact list, is making sure those headers are all in place and that you can get them to line up properly with what GSuite expects. So that's most of what you really need to focus on in your contacts, is just getting the information in and getting them in the correct buckets. Give it a day or so to feed over. Actually, it generally should feed over within 24 hours. If not, give me a call. But once you've got all this information in, it will feed over into your Moxi Engage account, and it'll make setting up your campaigns, your marketing, all of that stuff a lot easier by having that stuff in place. So some other things, again, I'm going to try and get you out at 3:15, but I do want to touch on a few other of the applications that you have available. Another big one is Drive. It's a great place to store information, upload property photos to share them with your ASC. It's just basically a great document storage device. And it's very simple to use. You can categorize it into folders. You can upload direct documents. It will also save documents that you've created within the system. And those are created in Docs, which is similar to Word, Sheets, which is similar to Excel, and Slides, which is a PowerPoint, has the same functionality as PowerPoint. So let's hop into Slides. And you'll see that they even have templates available for you to use. So if you had a presentation, you wanted to load your listing presentation into here, Slides is available to do that. So you would just click a template if you wanted to. And again, I'm just showing you one of the three, but basically they all work the same. You can see this is very similar to PowerPoint. I would just go through and change whatever I needed to change, delete what I needed to delete. So maybe I want to spell this out. And that's saved. Another nice thing about Sheets, I'm getting my words mixed up. So Sheets, Slides, and Docs, Sheets, and Slides. You don't have to hit save. The minute you type something, it's automatically going to save for you. Another nice thing is if you are collaborating with somebody, you can actually share this document. With somebody else. And you guys can both be in here working on this document at the same time. It will save both changes, or you can shoot them an email. Hey, can you check my PowerPoint out and spell check it? They can go through and spell check it. So it lives in the cloud. Everyone can collaborate and work on this one document at the same time. That's the same with Sheets and Docs as well. So if you're creating anything, a spreadsheet or anything like that, it's great to do it here if you're collaborating with someone else, because everyone can work on it. I can tell you, since we've launched GSuite, almost everything we do administratively is here in Google Drive, Suites, and Docs, because we can work on it together. And everyone can be in here making the necessary changes to the document or slide or whichever section is their priority or their responsibility at the same time. Go ahead and close that out. And we've got 6 minutes left. I know we just kind of flew through that. There's so much in here. Again, something I say with all of my trainings and all of the tools that we have, get in there and play with it. First of all, the best way to remember it, especially as we all get more and more Zoom fatigued, maybe is the word for it, but getting in right after a training and playing with it is the best source of learning, even more so than sitting through these trainings, because it's the muscle memory. So just get in there and play with it. You can't break it. Give it a try. If you get stuck or you feel like you broke something, give one of us on the tech team a call. We're happy to help you out, but I guarantee you, you're definitely not going to break it. It's all pretty straightforward. But again, we're here to help if you need any help. Hopefully everyone got something that they didn't know out of the call. And if you have any questions, we've got 5 minutes. Awesome. Well, you guys are quiet. I hope that's awesome. You guys are quiet. Hopefully it's not that everyone needs caffeine as much as me. Anything else that you guys have run across in GSuite that you've had questions about, wanted to try, but were afraid to? No. Well, we can go ahead and wrap 4 minutes early. I'll let you get back to your day. Thanks for joining us today. I know we throw a lot of trainings out at you, and we're very glad to have you on board. But yeah, have an awesome day, and don't hesitate to reach out should you have any questions.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely.